It began on a quiet night, when the skies above Earth were calm and silent. Humanity had grown used to space being empty. For decades, telescopes had scanned the stars, listening for whispers of alien life. Nothing had come. The stars remained quiet, and people began to believe the galaxy was silent too. But silence does not always mean safety. Deep beneath the frozen ground of Antarctica, inside a secret research station, a machine caught something unusual. A faint pulse of energy, so small it was almost lost in the noise of the universe. But it repeated over and over, like a heartbeat echoing across the stars. The scientists stared at their screens, confused. It was not natural. Stars do not beat like this. Planets do not send signals. Something or someone had sent this dot at first. They thought it might be human in origin. Perhaps an old satellite, or a transmission bouncing strangely across space. But when they checked the data again, they realized the truth. The signal was not coming from Earth. It was coming toward Earth. The message was strange, broken, shards of sound, fragments of symbols. It was not a greeting, not a friendly hello. No, this was different. The signal carried fear. A warning. One scientist, an older woman named Dr. Keller, spent nights trying to decode it. Her eyes burned from staring at glowing screens. Her fingers trembled as she shifted lines of code, trying to find meaning. Finally, she saw the pattern. The message, though damaged, spoke clearly enough. They are coming. That was all. No name. No identity. No explanation of who they were. Just the chilling certainty of the words. They are coming. Dr. Keller leaned back in her chair, her face pale. She whispered the words aloud in the empty lab, and even in the silence, the room seemed to grow colder. Governments were alerted. Military leaders held quiet meetings in secret rooms, far from the public eye. No one wanted to believe it. Some thought it was a trick, a hoax, or even a mistake in the data. But as the weeks passed, the signal grew stronger. Every night, new fragments arrived. They carried images, flashes of broken memories, ruined cities, ash-covered planets, scars of war carved into alien landscapes, faces not human, twisted in terror. And always the same final echo, they are coming. The scientists realized something else. The signal was old, ancient. It had been traveling through the void of space for thousands of years. Whoever sent it was long dead. Their warning was all that remained. And now, for the first time, humanity was hearing it. Panic spread in the highest circles of power. Leaders asked the same questions again and again. Who are they? What do they want? Why now? But there were no answers. Only the signal. Only the broken voices of the dead dot in quiet corners of Earth. Conspiracy theories exploded. People whispered about monsters in the dark. Some said it was the end of days. Others laughed, calling it lies. But far above them, in orbit, satellites confirmed something terrifying. Objects were moving at the edge of the solar system. Small, distant shapes, almost invisible. But they were there. And they were coming closer. The world was not ready. Humanity was divided. Nations argued instead of uniting. Some wanted to prepare weapons. Others wanted to hide the truth from their people. Still others whispered about surrender, even before the enemy arrived. But the signal did not wait. Each new fragment painted a darker picture. The predators were hunters. They did not come for trade or knowledge or peace. They came to consume. Entire civilizations had fallen before them. Worlds were stripped bare, their life stolen, their cities crushed under claws of steel and flesh. The signal showed flashes of them, but never clearly. Shadows with too many teeth. Shapes that moved too fast to follow. Glimpses of eyes that glowed like fire in the dark. Enough to terrify, never enough to fully understand. Dr. Keller recorded her findings into a journal. Her voice shook as she spoke into the recorder. They are not just conquerors. she said softly. They are not invaders looking for land. They are predators. Apex predators. The top of the food chain. And now, they have noticed us. Her words were meant for other scientists, but they spread like fire. Soon, soldiers repeated them in their barracks. Civilians whispered them in fear. Journalists tried to dig deeper, but the government silenced them. Still, the words lived on, haunting anyone who heard them. The galaxy's apex predators are now coming for us. Nights grew restless across Earth. Telescopes turned to the stars, searching for movement. At first, nothing appeared, but then, faint shadows began to cross the darkness. Ships, enormous ships. Their shapes were not like human vessels. They were jagged, uneven, almost like the bones of some massive beast. They did not glow with light. They did not send signals. They simply drifted forward, silent and patient, as if they had all the time in the universe. And still the warning pulsed, unchanged. They are coming. In cities, people felt unease without knowing why. Strange power surges rolled through. Communication networks. Static whispered through radios late at night. Some swore they heard voices in the static, alien voices, calling their names. Children woke from nightmares they could not explain. Soldiers reported dreams of being hunted. Through endless corridors. Always the same feeling. Something vast and merciless was drawing closer. And above them, the ships crept nearer. The world's leaders gathered for one last meeting. Hidden deep underground, inside a bunker lined with steel, they argued as the signal played again and again. Some demanded peace talks, even without knowing what the enemy wanted. Others demanded immediate war. But all fell silent when the signal played its final fragment. It was a voice. Not human. Low, broken, distorted. The words were simple, but they froze every heart in the room. You cannot run. You cannot hide. We are already here. The recording ended. Silence filled the bunker. And then, almost as if answering the signal, every satellite orbiting Earth went dark for exactly 7 seconds. When they came back online, the images they showed would haunt humanity forever. Above the moon, a shadow now waited. A ship, larger than anything humanity had ever built, hung in the blackness of space. It did not move. It did not signal. It only waited. Watching that the predators had arrived. The shadow above the moon did not move. It simply waited. Humanity stared at it through telescopes, through cameras, through the naked eye. Some thought it was just a rock. Some thought it was a trick of light. But the scientists knew better. It was not natural. It was not from Earth. The predators had arrived. For days the ship remained silent. No signals, no lights, no weapons fired. It only hung there, still and patient, as if it were studying humanity, watching, judging. But as it waited, the signal from space continued to play. More fragments. More whispers of history. And each whisper painted a darker picture of the galaxies. PASD Dr. Keller barely slept. Her hands shook as she translated the broken pieces. They were not just warnings, they were memories, left behind by civilizations long gone. The first story came from a species called the Karai. They had lived on a lush green world filled with oceans and forests. The fragments showed their cities' tall towers of crystal, glowing softly under twin suns. The Karai had believed themselves safe, but then the predators came, the images blurred, shifting too quickly for human eyes to understand. Flashes of fire, towers crumbling. Beasts with claws like blades tearing through streets. The Karai had fought, yes, but their weapons were useless. One moment, their skies were filled with songs of peace. The next, they burned red. The last image from the Karai memory was haunting. A child, small and fragile, reaching upward as shadows closed in. Then the signal cut to static. Dr. Keller wrote in her journal, "They do not conquer worlds. They erase them." The Karai did not fall in battle. They were hunted. They were prey. The second whisper came from another race, the Irasens. Unlike the peaceful Karai, the Irasens were warriors. They built fleets of warships. They believed no enemy could defeat them. At first, it seemed they were right. Their fleets struck hard against the predators. Their weapons burned holes in alien armor. Victories were celebrated. But then the predators changed. They adapted. Each battle taught them something new. Each loss made them stronger. Soon, the Irasens' fleets were torn apart. Their victories became defeats. Their courage became despair. The fragments showed the Irasen capital world in flames. Their once mighty generals dragged through the streets like broken animals. The predators did not just kill. They humiliated. They wanted their prey to feel fear before the end. The final whisper from the Irasens was a single sentence, scratched into the ruins of a burning warship. "We thought we were the hunters. We were wrong." Dr. Keller looked at the words again and again. Her hands trembled as she realized the meaning. The predators were not mindless beasts. They were intelligent, patient, ruthless. They learned from every kill. And now, they were studying humanity. In military bunkers across Earth, generals debated. Some demanded action. Others urged patience. But all of them felt the same cold truth, pressing down on their chests. If the predators had destroyed civilizations far stronger than Earth, what chance did humanity have? But the whispers did not end. The signal brought fragments from countless other races. There were the Drakli, who tried to hide by fleeing into deep space. Their colonies vanished one by one until there was nothing left. There were the Erewhon, who surrendered, offering themselves as servants. The predators laughed. They devoured them anyway. And there were the Talrians, who built walls of stone and steel, hiding underground. But predators do not need the sun. They followed them into the dark, tearing them from their holes like animals. Every story ended the same way: death, extinction, silence. And yet, one question remained: why Earth? Why now? Dr. Keller believed the answer lay in the fragments of the signal that repeated most often. They showed maps of the stars, paths drawn across the galaxy, moving like rivers of blood. Each path led to a ruined world. And slowly, painfully, she traced the line. It was leading here, to Earth. But there was something strange. The line should have reached Earth thousands of years ago. Yet, somehow it had not. Humanity had been spared. Why? Some scientists believed Earth had been overlooked, hidden behind its small sun, ignored by the predators. Others thought humanity had been deliberately left alone, as if waiting for the right time. But Dr. Keller had a darker thought. What if we were being saved? She whispered. What if we were left to grow stronger, so the hunt would be sweeter? The words spread through the research stations like poison. Soon, soldiers heard them. Civilians heard them. Everyone whispered the same terrifying idea. Humanity had not been ignored. Humanity had been reserved. On the streets of Earth, fear turned into chaos. Rumors spread faster than truth. Some claimed the moonship had sent invisible scouts already walking among them. Others swore they had seen strange shapes in the shadows, watching from rooftops. Governments tried to calm the people, but panic grew. Protests erupted. Some demanded peace. Others demanded war. But deep down, everyone knew the truth. The whispers of the past all ended the same way. At night, Dr. Keller listened to the signal again. She knew most people would never hear it directly. The governments had locked it away, classified it. But she could not stop listening. The voices of the dead were not just warnings. They were confessions, pleas. They were echoes of civilizations that had faced what humanity now faced. She pressed her hands against her ears, but the voices seemed to crawl into her mind anyway. She saw flashes in her dreams, worlds burning, oceans boiling, skies filled with screams. She saw the predators standing tall, their eyes glowing like fire. She felt their laughter, When she woke, her pillow was wet with tears. Meanwhile, above Earth, the ship finally moved. Not much, just a slow turn. But the moment was enough to freeze every heart on the planet. It was watching them. The predators were studying their prey. In one hidden meeting, a general spoke the words no one wanted to hear. They are not here to invade. They are here to hunt, and we are the prey. No one argued. No one disagreed. The whispers of the past grew louder. More fragments came through. They spoke of predators who never stopped, who never tired, who never bargained. They hunted, not for food, not for survival, but for something far worse. Pleasure. Civilizations were toys, planets were games. Lives were prizes to be collected and destroyed. And now, humanity was next. The final fragment that week came from a dying voice. It was broken, weak, almost gone. But its words carried across time, heavy with despair. If you hear this, it is already too late. They will find you. They always find you. Run if you wish. Hide if you can. Fight if you dare. It will not matter. They are the end. They are the last shadow you will ever see. The message ended. Silence filled the lab. Dr. Keller sat frozen in her chair, staring at the dark screen. She could feel her own heart beating too fast, her breath shaking in her chest. She finally whispered the words that so many others already feared. The galaxy's apex predators are here, and now. They are coming for us. The shadow above the moon no longer stayed still. Slowly, patiently, it shifted position. Every telescope on Earth tracked it. Every satellite caught its movement. And still, the ship sent no message. It was silent, waiting, watching. Humanity could no longer deny the truth. The apex predators of the galaxy had arrived. Now, the world had to decide. In the underground halls of government bunkers, leaders gathered. They came from every continent, every nation. The room was filled with generals, scientists, and politicians. Their faces were pale, their voices sharp with fear. The question was simple, yet impossible. What should humanity do? Some spoke first. Of peace. We must try to communicate, said a leader from Europe. We do not know their intentions. The warnings may not be true. Perhaps they can be reasoned with. Her voice trembled, even as she tried to sound calm. Everyone knew the truth. The warnings were real. But some still clung to hope. Others laughed bitterly at the idea. Peace? Barked an American general. Did the Irasans find peace? Did the Karai? No. Every story ends in fire. Every signal ends in death. These creatures don't want peace. They want the hunt. His words echoed through the chamber. Another voice rose. This time it was softer, but heavy with fear. Then perhaps we should surrender. The room erupted. Some shouted in anger, others in disbelief. But the man who spoke raised his hands. Think about it, he insisted. If they are hunters, if they are gods of war, then what hope do we have? Our weapons are weak compared to theirs. Our armies are untested against such monsters. Perhaps if we bow, they will spare us. But Dr. Keller, sitting silently in the corner, finally spoke. They will not spare us. They never spare anyone. They will take your surrender, and then they will still devour you. To them, mercy is weakness. To them, surrender is just another flavor of fear. Her voice cut through the noise of the room. Silence followed. So the debate turned to the final option, fight. Generals spoke of weapons. Missiles, drones, hidden defense systems. They spoke of numbers, of courage, of desperation, but even as they spoke, all of them knew the truth. Humanity's weapons were built to fight itself, not monsters from the stars. The predators had destroyed civilizations far greater, far stronger, far more advanced. What chance did humanity have? And yet, what other choice was there? As the leaders argued, the people above the ground grew restless. News of the moon ship spread, no matter how hard governments tried to control it. Images leaked. Videos spread across the internet. Everyone could see it now. A massive shadow hanging over the moon, waiting like a predator waiting to pounce on the streets. People panicked. Some prepared weapons, knives, and guns, foolishly believing they could fight what was coming. Others prayed in churches, temples, and mosques. Still others turned to madness, looting and burning, as if the end of the world had already arrived. Humanity was tearing itself apart even before the first shot was fired. But not everyone gave up. In hidden laboratories, scientists worked day and night. They studied the signal, searching for weaknesses, for answers, for anything that could give humanity a chance. Dr. Keller was among them. Her eyes were red from lack of sleep. Her voice was hoarse from endless speaking. But she refused to stop. She believed that the predators, as powerful as they were, must have limits. They must have weaknesses. No predator was perfect, but to find those weaknesses, humanity had to survive long enough to learn. Meanwhile, the military made its own choice. Quietly, without waiting for politicians, they prepared. Submarines carried nuclear warheads to secret positions. Fighters stood ready on hidden runways. Satellites shifted orbit, watching the moon ship closely. Every soldier who trained knew the truth. Their weapons might not matter, but they still prepared. Humanity would not go quietly. Inside the bunker, the arguments raged on. Hours turned into days. No decision seemed final. Until the predators made their first move. It began with a shadow. A smaller ship detached from the massive one above the moon. It was sleek, jagged, sharp like the tooth of beast. Slowly, it drifted toward Earth. Every telescope tracked it. Every radar followed it. The world held its breath. The ship did not attack. It did not speak. Instead, it entered Earth's orbit and simply circled. Watching, studying. On the ground, people panicked. Some screamed that the end had come. Others stared at the skies in silence. And in the bunker, humanity finally made its choice. "We fight," said the American general. "We fight," agreed the European leader. "We fight," whispered Dr. Keller. The words spread through the room, through the air, through every soul that heard them. Humanity was outmatched. Humanity was unprepared. But humanity would not kneel. They would fight. Preparations began at once. Militaries mobilized. Scientists worked faster. Engineers built new weapons, combining human technology with scraps of alien knowledge from the signal. It was not enough. It would never be enough. But it was something. Meanwhile, the whispers of the past continued to speak. The signal revealed one more truth. One last story. It came from a species unnamed, a race long forgotten. They had faced the predators and fallen, like all the rest. But their final message was different. They spoke of resistance. They spoke of defiance, and their last words burned into Dr. Keller's mind. "They hunt us because they think we are prey. Show them we are not prey. Show them we are predators too." The words spread quietly through the human ranks. Soldiers repeated them in barracks. Pilots whispered them before takeoff. Engineers carved them into metal as they built weapons. It became a promise, a vow. Humanity would not go quietly. Humanity would not be prey. Above Earth, the smaller predator ship still circled. Its dark hull reflected no light. Its movements were slow, deliberate, like a beast stalking its victim. And deep inside, unseen by human eyes, the predators watched. Their voices, cold and cruel, filled the ship. "They are weak," one said. "They are loud," another replied. "They scream like all the others." But then a third spoke. Its voice was different, curious, almost amused, perhaps. "But look at their eyes. They are not only afraid, they are angry." A pause. "Good," the first predator said. "Anger makes the hunt sweeter." They laughed together, a sound like knives scraping against bone. On Earth, humans prepared. Children were hidden in shelters. Soldiers trained. Scientists searched. Leaders prayed, and above them all, the shadows grew darker. The choice had been made. Humanity would fight. But in the silence of the void, the apex predators whispered to each other. They think they can resist. They think they can fight. They think they are predators. Their glowing eyes turned toward the blue planet below. Let us teach them what true predators are. The first clash did not begin with fire. It began with silence. For days, the predator ship circled the Earth like a shadow that never moved. It watched. It studied. Humanity waited, tense and restless, with fear growing in every heart. And then, without warning, the shadow struck. A smaller craft broke away from the predator ship. It entered the atmosphere like a burning spear, moving so fast that Earth's radars almost missed it. It fell toward the ocean, vanishing beneath the waves, seconds. Later, every submarine in the Pacific reported strange sounds. Something was moving below the water, hunting them in the dark. One submarine never reported back. Then another. And another. The hunt had begun. The world reacted instantly. Fighter jets screamed into the sky. Warships armed their missiles. Satellites locked their cameras onto the predators. Humanity had chosen to fight, and now the moment had come. But the predators were ready. When the first human jets approached the shadow ship near the moon, beams of light cut across the black sky. The jets vanished in silence. No flames, no wreckage, just sudden emptiness. Pilots screamed in confusion, their radios filled with static. And then their voices were gone too. The predators did not need battles. They needed hunts. On the ground, people watched the skies in horror. Bright streaks of fire fell from above as smaller predator ships entered the atmosphere. They did not land in cities. They landed in forests, deserts, oceans. They spread out like wolves surrounding prey. And then, slowly, they moved closer. In one city, the first predator appeared. It walked through the smoke of its burning craft. Its body was tall, armored with skin that looked like black stone. Its face was hidden behind a mask of bone, but its eyes glowed like molten fire. People ran. Soldiers opened fire. Bullets sparked against its armor, useless. The predator moved like a shadow, faster than any human eye could follow. One soldier raised a rocket launcher, shouting in fear and rage. He fired. The explosion lit up the street in flames, and for the first time, the predator staggered. The soldier shouted in triumph, but his victory lasted only a second. The predator's clawed hand tore through the smoke, dragging him into the shadows. His scream was the last sound before silence. The clash was everywhere now. In the skies, predator ships hunted planes like birds of prey. In the oceans, predator craft tore through submarines with impossible speed. On land, predators stalked soldiers in the ruins of cities, their laughter echoing through the smoke. Humanity was losing. But then, something changed. The predators had expected fear. They had expected humans to run, to cry, to hide like all the others before them. But humans did not only run, they fought. In a ruined city, a group of soldiers set a trap. They lured a predator into a narrow street, then detonated explosives hidden in the buildings. The predator was buried under rubble. Its laughter silenced. In the ocean, a submarine sacrificed itself, ramming a predator craft with its final torpedo. Both ships were destroyed, and in the skies, a human pilot refused to flee. His jet was burning, broken, falling apart. But instead of ejecting, he steered his dying craft straight into the predator ship. The explosion lit the night sky like a second sun. For the first time in history, a predator ship fell. The world saw it. The soldiers saw it. The predators saw it too. And everything changed. Inside their ship, the predators growled. They resist. One said, "They kill." Another hissed, "They fight like cornered beasts." A long silence followed. Then the leader of the predators spoke. His voice was calm, but beneath it burned fury. Good, he said. Let them fight. A weak hunt is boring. But this will be entertaining. The predators prepared too. Strike harder. On Earth, the victories were small, but they spread hope. Soldiers who thought they were helpless now realized something new. The predators could bleed. They could fall. They were powerful, yes. But they were not gods. They could be killed. Dr. Keller worked tirelessly, decoding more fragments from the signal. She believed that inside the whispers of the past lay secrets the predators feared. Weaknesses, clues, anything that might turn the tide. And one night, she found something. A single word repeated again and again, hidden deep inside the final transmissions. Of the Orasans, overload. She searched the data, her fingers trembling. Slowly, the meaning became clear. The predators' technology was advanced, but it had limits. Energy overloads could destabilize their weapons, even tear apart their ships. Humanity had discovered a weakness. The news spread quickly. Engineers built new weapons, designed to push predator systems into overload. Electromagnetic pulses, high-energy bursts. Dangerous, unstable technology. It was not safe. It was not perfect. But it was hoped that the next clash came over the deserts of North Africa. Predator ships descended, hunting hidden bases. But this time, humanity was ready. Missiles streaked upward, carrying warheads designed not to destroy, but to overload. Bursts of electromagnetic fire exploded across the sky. The predator ships staggered, their weapons flickered. Their shields failed. And then human missiles struck home. The sky burned. Predator wreckage fell like rain. For the first time, humanity won a true battle. The predators roared in fury. Never before had prey struck back like this. Never before had prey drawn blood. And for the first time, the predators felt something they had not known in countless hunts. Fear. But fear did not weaken them. It only made them angrier. More ships descended. More predators stalked the cities, forests, and oceans. Their laughter grew darker, their hunts more brutal. They whispered among themselves, "Perhaps these humans are different. Yes, they are not prey, they are rivals." Their glowing eyes turned toward the blue planet below. Then let us show them what happens when prey pretends to be predators. On Earth, the battles raged on. Cities burned. Oceans boiled. The skies filled with fire, but humanity refused to kneel. Soldiers fought. Civilians resisted. Scientists worked. And across the world, the same words echoed again and again, carved into walls, whispered before battle, shouted in the smoke of war. We are not prey. The clash of hunters had begun. The war had changed. At first, the predators hunted humans like animals. They thought it would be easy, another hunt like the many before. But now, the galaxy's most feared hunters had tasted something they had not felt in centuries. Resistance. Prey that fought back. Prey that killed. And now, they were no longer sure if humanity was prey at all. Across the burning Earth, battles raged. In deserts, predator ships crashed into sandstorms of missiles. In oceans, submarines struck with torpedoes that made predator vessels erupt like volcanoes. In the skies, human jets fell in fire, but not before dragging predator craft down with them. The hunters were strong, but humans were relentless. The predators laughed as they fought. They roared as their prey struck back. But deep within, some of them felt something they had not known in countless hunts. Dr. Keller sat in her underground lab, her hands shaking as she watched new fragments of the ancient signal appear. The voices of long-dead civilizations whispered again, warning her, guiding her. She knew humanity had little time left. The predators were furious now. Their ships gathered in orbit, forming a dark wall around Earth. This was no longer the slow hunt. This was extermination. But the whispers gave her one last secret, one last chance. The predators could adapt to weapons. They could adapt to strategies. But there was one thing they could not adapt to. Unpredictability. Madness. Humanity, single quotes, S greatest weakness was also its greatest strength. On the battlefield, this truth became clear. In one city, surrounded by predator hunters, a group of civilians refused to flee. They carried no advanced weapons, only homemade bombs, fire, and rage. They struck the predators from windows, from sewers, from rooftops. The predators killed them easily, but not before the humans dragged several hunters into the flames with them. In the forest, soldiers used old traps pits, explosives tied to trees, even sharpened wooden spikes. Primitive, foolish, yet somehow they worked. A predator impaled, another caught in fire. The predators roared in anger. These were not battles of technology. These were battles of will. And in will, humanity was unmatched. The world had become chaos. Cities were ruins. Oceans boiled. Skies burned red. Yet even in destruction, humanity stood tall. For every man or woman that fell, another rose. For every city that burned, another strike came from the shadows. Humanity refused to kneel. The predators began to understand. This was not prey. This was another kind of predator. In orbit, the leader of the predator fleet watched silently. His body was taller than the others, his eyes burning brighter, his armor etched with scars from countless hunts. He stared at the blue planet below. These humans, he said slowly, his voice like stone breaking, they are not like the others. No, another predator agreed. They fight until death. They do not break. The leader leaned forward. His claws scraped against the cold metal floor. Then we must break them. We must show them that there is only one apex. His glowing eyes narrowed. I will hunt them. Myself. And so the final hunt began. The predator leader descended to Earth. His ship struck the ruins of a great city, shattering towers and sending fire into the sky. Humans watched in silence as the monster emerged. He was taller, stronger, faster than any predator they had faced before. His armor gleamed with the bones of countless species. His claws dripped with weapons of pure energy. He was death given shape, and he had come for humanity. The soldiers gathered. Tanks rolled forward. Jets screamed above. Missiles launched. The predator leader stood still. Then, with one movement, he tore through them all. Missiles exploded harmlessly against his shields. Tanks melted under his weapons. Jets fell like burning birds. The soldiers fought bravely, but against him. They were ants facing a storm. Dr. Keller watched from the bunkers. Screens, horror filling her eyes. This was not a battle. This was slaughter. The predator leader raised his head and roared, his voice echoing across the broken city. Humans, you are strong, stronger than most. But you are not us. You are not apex. You are only prey with teeth. But humanity was not finished. Even as the predator leader slaughtered soldiers, humans planned. They whispered, they signaled, they prepared. A trap, not of technology, not of weapons, a trap of desperation. Beneath the city, hidden in tunnels, engineers and scientists had placed something dangerous, something they were not even sure would work. A chain of unstable energy cores, tied together into one last weapon. If triggered, the overload would consume everything, predator, humans, the city itself. It was madness. But madness was all humanity had left. As the predator leader tore through the streets, the trap was set. Soldiers threw themselves at him, buying time with their lives. Civilians lit fires, drawing him closer. The leader laughed, his claws dripping with blood. Fools, he growled. You cannot stop me. You cannot. And then the ground beneath him shook. The overload began. Dr. Keller's voice echoed through the radios, calm despite the chaos. This is our world. You wanted prey. But you found hunters, and hunters fight until the very end. The few. Predator leader roared as energy burst around him. His shields cracked. His armor shattered. For the first time, his body staggered, and in that moment, humans swarmed him. Soldiers, broken and bleeding, leapt upon the monster. They fired, stabbed, burned, dragging him into the flames of the overload. The city exploded in light. Silence followed. When the dust cleared, the Predator leader was gone. His ship destroyed. His body vanished in the fire, but so were the humans who fought him. Their sacrifice became legend. Above the earth, the Predator fleet watched. Their leader was dead. Their prey had killed him, for the first time in history. The Predators hesitated. They could destroy the planet. They could burn it until nothing remained. But they did not move. Because for the first time, they felt something new. Fear, not fear of death, but fear of the unknown, fear of humanity. The Predators whispered among themselves. They killed him. No prey has ever done this. They are not prey. The silence grew heavy. Then, without a word, the Predators turned their ships away. The fleet left orbit. One by one, their shadows vanished into the void of space. On Earth, the fires still burned. Cities were ruins. Millions were gone. But humanity remained, broken, bleeding, but alive. And in their survival, they had proven something the galaxy had never known before. The Predators were not the only apex. Humanity was too. Dr. Keller stood on the surface of the ruined city, her face streaked with ash. She stared at the empty skies where the Predator fleet had vanished. They will come back, she whispered. One day they will return. She looked at the soldiers beside her, at the survivors rising from rubble, at the children staring up at the stars with defiance in their eyes. And when they do, she said softly, we will be ready. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Civilizations hiding in the shadows heard the news. The Predators had been stopped. Their leader had fallen. The message was clear. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was the Predator the galaxy had been waiting for.